when we told Stephen's parents that we were getting married. His dad, mom, dad tried to have this big theological argument with us. I said, we're not going to get into the theological discussion. We needed to let you know that we're getting married, but we're not going to discuss it.
Did they attend your wedding?
No.
Were your parents alive when you got married?
My dad was.
Did he come?
No. Yeah, it was just something that was sort of there. It was the elephant in the room. It was the elephant in the room. First partner brought me out. I knew I sort of had leaned that direction, but he helped me verbalize them. Sexuality with my family was something that wasn't discussed. And when I was 13, there was somebody, Max, living in a trailer at my grandparents' dairy in Atwater. And I went over he started spending a lot of time with me. And he invited me over to spend a weekend at my grandparents'. My grandmother was out of town for some reason. It was just my grandfather. And I ended up spending a lot of time with him. And we did some playing around. He with me, nothing major happened, but my folks figured it out right away because I was different when we got back. And but Dad went over. We were going somewhere, and we stopped there, and Dad went and had a talk with the guy, and he was gone soon after. Never once did they talk to me about it. They acted like my partner didn't exist. And I finally, the second time he was in the hospital, he had polio when he was 18, 1950. He was a bit older than me. In late 84, he had to have a valve replacement. And then in 89, it tore and he had to have another replacement. And at this time, my parents were just acting like he didn't exist. Because I came out in 72. So, my younger brother accepted it a lot faster. My older brother never did. We went to my grandmother's funeral up in Mariposa, and the entire time he told queer jokes, one right after another. And they finally quit bugging me to get married. I had quit attending church at the time. It wasn't specifically over that, although the Seventh-day Adventists were very homophobic. I came home on leave before I was sent to Germany. I went to church and wearing my uniform, and nobody would talk to me. These are people that saw me grow up. It wasn't until 2005 I'd already gotten together with my present partner. And my first partner passed away in 96 from polio-related complications. And that was in February, and Stephen moved in. He was our housekeeper. Stephen is my current partner. And he moved in October, November of 96. And we were just roommates for a few years. Then in 2001, we realized that there was a lot more feelings than just roommate. Decided to see if we could put a relationship together. I'm a Grace Baptist rather than a Baptist because not all Baptists have the same attitudes about a lot of stuff. Well, there's a number of people there that are gay. Stephen and I got married there. The entire church was in attendance. That's pretty supportive. If you were going to church, you had to stay hidden. My first partner was kicked out of the Southern Baptists. I had a very good friend who was discommunicated, whatever the Mormons do. We have the same hopes and dreams as everybody else. 2005, the church was having a retreat, and Stephen invited me to go along because I wasn't going to church. they knew who I was, but I wasn't going to church. So he invited me to the retreat, and to his surprise, I said yes. And so we spent the weekend in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it was a good time. I felt totally accepted. I was out in the woods and asking, is it time to retire? And I heard this in my head, not yet, but soon. And oh, by the way, I want you to go back to church. So that's how I ended up back where I'm at. I have always felt that it doesn't matter if I'm rich or famous. I have always felt it more important that, the way I put it, I would say at the end of my days, I want to know that I made a difference in one person's life.